Some people like to say that front-wheel drive racing is awful, blasphemous, and to be avoided at all costs. These people are very wrong. Touring car racing is flipping excellent. But before you head to the iRacing store to grab your favourite box on wheels, why not check out our 6 tips on how to go quick in said box on wheels. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion. Gareth here. We're just about to start our 3rd season of TCR racing in the league. I must admit I struggled quite a lot at first with these cars, but after hosting one of our fast TCR drivers, Damon Mitchell, on the Limit of Adhesion podcast a couple of months ago, I started applying his tips to my driving, and in the last race of Season 2, this happened.
And Murphy's sitting behind his teammate, is he going to let him by? Meanwhile, bottom left, let's take nothing away from this. In the final round, it is Winslade for the win.
Molarin's
and
come
what's
back.
happening for P2? Oh, they're in the wall!
Still chuffed. I've got fast laps and a few more tips from Ben Chalcraft, David Ward and John Cook, along with Damon's suggestions to help you get the best out of your TCR driving. So let's dive in. For some bizarre reason, iRacing sets the brake bias really far forward on these cars, usually a bit over 50% weighted to the front wheels, which would be great for the first lap or two, but you'll quickly overheat the front tyres and spend your time understeering off track and being miserable. So the first thing to do is dial your balance right back. The exact position is up to you. David suggests 38.5% in the Veloster. I like around 41% in the Elantra. It's a significant chunk back from the iRacing standard. This will mean you are going to be oversteering in the opening couple of laps, but be smooth and calm and the car will get better and better. Doing this will really help you save your front grip for turning rather than braking. Heat death in your tyres is horrendous, as is having to constantly faff about with your brake bias during a 15-minute race. Set it once at the start and you should be good till the end. Brake earlier than you're expecting, especially when you're getting used to these cars. You're driving a heavily modded production car, not a design from the ground up race car, so take that into account. Brake hard in a straight line, but avoid activating the ABS. Use your engine braking to help slow the car by rapidly going down the gears while braking. TCRs work really well with this, so don't be afraid to use that extra stopping force. The rest of the braking tips really belong in the next section, so let's get there now. Following on from the heavy braking phase, you'll be bleeding off the brakes as usual as you move into the trail braking phase, but this is absolutely critical in these cars as you want those front tyres squashed nicely into the track surface to get your turning done. David, driving the Veloster, recommends not being afraid of the back end getting loose. He says it will really help you with turning and with transition corners where you're going from left to right in quick succession. Having driven behind him, I can confirm he likes a slide. The next big secret of cornering in TCR is the amount of steering input. You don't want to be turning much at all. If, like me, you've gone into a corner or wrestled your wheel through a particularly tough bit of feedback while swearing profusely only for it to go light, then congratulations, you've learned what not to do. Think about it logically. When your wheel feels super heavy in a front wheel drive, what is it telling you? It's saying that you've got grip and therefore cornering power. When it goes light and floppy, you've broken that grip and you're now understeering. Damon recommends 30 to 40 degrees of rotation max. You might turn more in a low-speed hairpin like Long Beach, but generally speaking, stick to this rule. Keep the steering feeling heavy and you'll be in the optimal window for turning the car. Corner exits are all about a smooth delivery of throttle. You need to be patient. You want the car as straight as possible when at full power. It's really important to not just stamp on the throttle pedal. It's like the inverse of a high-power Formula car. With those, you're trying to accelerate without breaking rear traction and spinning. With the TCR, you need to accelerate while not losing front grip and understeering off the track. One thing you really need to master with the TCRs is not to react with the wheel to what the car is doing. You need to use your feet. If you're understeering and going to miss the apex of the corner, bring in a little more brake rather than cranking on more steering lock. You're just going to make it worse by turning more. As I mentioned in the cornering section previously, corner exits also rely on the pedals. You have to be past the apex and straightening up before you really accelerate. Coming out of slow corners such as hairpins are all about smooth application of the right foot to keep you on the road. If you enter a corner and you can feel your rear getting too loose and trying to be the new front of the car, you're entering the oversteer phase. This is where front wheel drive can be a little counterintuitive. Just boot the throttle a bit. The front will immediately try to understeer and you should get out of trouble, then get back to normal steering. So really try and practice using your pedals to aid cornering and not your wheel. The current batch of cars all have different ways of getting off the line, so make sure you know what works for your car. The Honda Civic is probably the easiest one. Full throttle, dump the clutch on green, and off you go. The Audi doesn't have a clutch, and the first couple of gears will result in crazy wheel spin, so either keep it in neutral until the green light with a tiny bit of throttle, bang it into first and smoothly apply power as you quickly go from first to second to third, or start in first and smoothly accelerate from the green light going up through the gears. Practice what feels right for you. You need a delicate right foot to get the best out of it. The Hyundai Elantra and Veloster are probably the trickiest to start as you really need dual clutches. If you're using a button for the second clutch and a pedal, you want to release the button on green while using your pedal to keep around 15% pedal on. Bleed off the pedal as you get to 25 miles per hour, about 40 km/h, and then nail it. Similar approach with dual pedals. If you don't have a clutch pedal, then full power in neutral and pop it into first gear on the green light is your best approach, but do expect to lose a couple of positions at the start. Getting fast in TCR doesn't come without a lot of practice. I know that's the same for every car, but these things really reward you putting the time in. Learn which curbs you can take and which to avoid. It is different from car to car. The Hyundais are generally considered the best at curb hopping, but in my race win at Charlotte I got wheel damage from hammering the bus stop curb too hard, so take the time to find the limit. The Audi is considered the quickest in the straight line and off the line, but the gearbox is a bit quirky, shall we say. The Elantra is considered the best all-rounder, but the Veloster is much more nimble, although it can be a touch lively at the rear. The Civic is easy to launch, and some will say it does certain corners better than the others. If you don't own a TCR yet, then do try and sample them in downtime to choose the one that suits you. They do all feel a bit different. Personally, I find the Elantra suits me the most, but you'll find a champion for each car, so do try before you buy, if possible. Well, there you go, 6 tips on how to go quick in TCR. It feels like there will be more of these cars coming soon to the service, and hopefully an ever-growing community of boxcar racers. Not you, Tom. Hope you found the video useful. Please do the usual YouTube stuff of giving us a like and a sub, or better yet, come join our Discord and race in the LOA. See you next time.